Top of the morning to ya. Or good afternoon, good evening. Well, whatever time you're watching this, hello. My name is Christina, and this is Behind the Review. So this video is being recorded 5 days after St. Patrick's Day. So on St. Patrick's Day, I watched a Disney movie that I had never even heard of before. And thanks to my friends and my family, I asked for the recommendations on good movies for me to watch for St. Patrick's Day. And so this one was brought up quite a bit. And I'm surprised. I mean, I love Disney movies. And I'm surprised I've never even heard of this movie before. And it is from 1959. It is called Darby, Gill, and the Little People. I am going to be perfectly honest before I get started. I don't have very many notes. I have maybe half a page, maybe 3/4 of a page. I don't have a full page of notes. I'm just going to leave it at that. I was able to find this movie on Amazon Prime. I did rent it, which was perfectly fine. I'm absolutely fine with that. I mean, it's for a good cause. I'm watching these movies for you guys. Or I'm watching it for myself you know what I mean. So, it has, on Amazon, it has a rating of 4.5 stars. So, like I've mentioned in my previous video, which was on Wagons East, that starred John Candy and Richard Lewis, it also had a 4 or 4.5 star rating on Amazon. But also, I believe I also mentioned that I'm surprised on movies that I've never heard of before on having such good ratings. So I was pleasantly surprised that this one had a good rating on Amazon. So, like I said, I don't have very many notes because I was hooked into this movie. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was because it was a Disney movie and I'm sitting there and enjoying it as a fan of Disney movies, as a fan of movies, that I really didn't want to. I don't know. I was hooked. And so thank you to those of you who recommended this movie to me. I wrote down the other recommendations that were given to me, and I will save them for next year. So don't worry. The suggestions that were thrown out to me, I wrote them down. They're in my archive of movies to watch, and I will save it for next year. So, to begin, this movie doesn't necessarily star Sean Connery, but he is in this movie. I recognized him right away. It was something, his facial expressions, especially what he does with his mouth when he's about to talk or when he's talking. However, I was like, he was talking and I was like, that doesn't sound like him, but it looks like him. And so I was like, okay, I was maybe, I let it go by. But the more he kept talking, I was like, this is so weird. Like, I know it's him, but he was not talking with his Scottish accent that I am so used to hearing. Threw me off for the entire movie. But also, he was singing. He sang a song. I have heard this song before. I grew up listening to this song, but I never knew what movie it was from until now. The movie is called Pretty Irish. The movie? No. The song. The song is called Pretty Irish Girl. I have no idea what I'm saying anymore. Where was I going? Yeah. I have heard this song growing up, and when I see it pop up on my little dashboard thing with the music, and it tells me who the artist is, and it says Sean Connery, and I was like, no, it says Sean Connery, and I wasn't hearing it because it wasn't his accent, and now I know why. It's because it's from this movie. He wasn't talking or singing in his Scottish accent. He has a nice singing voice, by the way. But Sean Connery, he is so young. His voice threw me off. I wasn't expecting it. But yeah, and so there's a horse in this movie that if I heard it correctly, the name was Cleopatra. Okay, why? Why? Was there a reason behind it, or were the writers or someone just trying to find a name that kids and adults would recognize? I don't know. I did not watch this with captioning, so maybe it was a different name, but I could have sworn I heard him say Cleopatra was the name of his horse. What's his name? Darby. Darby's horse. I found it strange, first of all, that it would be the name of a horse. I don't know. I mean, well, who's to say? I don't know. I'm just curious on how they came up with that name for a horse. I'm going to be honest. I struggled trying to figure out who the antagonist was. Like, who was the bad guy? Granted, watching the whole movie, I still couldn't pinpoint exactly who the bad guy was. At first, I thought maybe it was Darby, just because of how they were, like, talking about him, especially at the pub. Like, it was at the pub. It was, yeah, I don't know. At first, I thought it was him, but then, of course, there were things that he was doing that made me think it was him, especially after they were talking about him. But the movie kept going. Then we meet the king of the leprechauns. I don't remember what his name was, and I didn't look it up. Like the king of the leprechauns. I thought he also could have been the bad guy. And then I also thought it could have been this guy named Pony. I'm curious as to how the writers came up with some of these names. Pony. I don't know. I was confused as the name. At first, when I heard the name, I thought they said Tony. But then apparently it was Pony when I looked it up like almost a week ago. It was strange to me. Odd name, but I don't know the history. I don't know. But it was strange. So I didn't know if it was him and his mom. There may have been more than one villain. That was the word I couldn't think of earlier. Disney villain. Okay. Yeah. Wow. No idea. To this day, I watched it a week ago, almost a week ago, and I still don't know who the villain is. Could there be more than one villain? I don't know. It was yeah, I don't know. So I'm still confused as to who the villain or villains are. Um, but hey, if you see that there was more than one villain, cool. Hey, we're allowed to have our own interpretations, right? Um, I only paused the movie once, and that was about 30 minutes into it, but it was because I had gotten hungry. I didn't think beforehand to get snacks and food and drinks and stuff before I started the movie. So I only paused it once, about 30 minutes in to grab some food, and then came back to finish it. I I I I couldn't stop watching. I didn't want to stop. It's like reading a book that you are hooked into and you cannot put it down. A page turner. You just want to keep going and going and going and you don't want to stop. That's how I felt with this one. And I can't pinpoint exactly why or how that is. Maybe I really don't know. Um Maybe because I was curious to see what the whole thing with Darby and the little people was all about. Um, I think I was just really into finding out what's gonna happen, how's this gonna end, that kind of thing. That I just I seriously was watching. What am I saying? I was I was watching this as a viewer. As far as I know, I was not wearing any other caps. I did not have a writing cap on. I did not have a director's cap on. I didn't have an acting cap on. No, I didn't have an acting cap on. I was watching this as a viewer. And considering this movie came out in the late 50s, the the graphics and the special effects that they had going on were quite good. So, sorry. Uh, sorry. If you heard that, there is a neighborhood rooster out there. We don't know who it belongs to, but it likes to hang out between my yard and the neighbor's yard. So, if you can hear it and you guys want to help me name this rooster, please leave your suggestions in the comments below. But I don't know. I just call him Rooster because I see him when I come home from work sometimes. I'm like, hey, Rooster. But if you guys have any other names, please leave your suggestions in the comments. And we'll have our own little community rooster. Anyway, yes, graphics and special effects were quite good for when this movie was made. Now there was this. This is my interpretation of it, was that there was this angel of death. It was like this black, like stagecoach type thing. I'm sorry if you hear that. That's the garage. Anyway, so this like this. It was like everything was all black, and it was and it was like this stagecoach kind of thing. And I saw who the coachman was, who the driver was, and it looked like the headless horseman. Now, I don't know if there's supposed to be a connection there, or if it's just something that kids, they've heard of the headless horseman. So maybe because of this, they are what's the word I'm looking for? They're making the connection that they see the headless horseman or a headless horseman, that they're connecting it with something bad, that it's not going to end well. I'm not too sure. Of course, it is a Disney movie, so I don't know. I wasn't expecting it, and to be honest, it confused me a little bit. But as I'm talking about it now, it's possible that it was to give, kids, or children, however, viewers, something as a reference as to. Sorry, I like to talk with my hands. Is to give them something to reference that it's not good. Basically, it's the angel of death. Yeah, I mean, it's different. I never would have thought to use the headless horseman as a angel of death thing. But yeah. Okay, so 2 characters I was absolutely annoyed with were Pony and his mom. I can't remember her name. I thought I wrote it down, but even if I wrote it down, I wouldn't know how to pronounce it. I could not stand them. I was annoyed with them. I was like, I do not like these people. Maybe we're not supposed to like them. So that means that those actors were doing their job. And if we're not supposed to like them, they did their job very well. I couldn't stand them. I was like, they need to go away. Shoot, stop. Like, it was really frustrating. I was like, oh my gosh, you guys are devious. Devious? Is that the word? I don't know. But I think you know what I mean. And yeah, it was but there was also it was so with the king of the leprechauns, I can't remember his name. I should have written it down. He I had hit or miss with him. There were times where I thought he was annoying. And there were times where I was like, what's he up to? Is he... I don't know. I didn't know. My feelings about him flip-flopped. The one thing was his laugh. I don't know. His laugh was... I couldn't quite figure it out. I don't know if he thought he was hilarious or if it was supposed to be an evil laugh, but that's not how it sounded. It was a lot. First of all, like at first I was like, okay, no big deal. But then he just kept going and going and going and laughing. Especially when he was drinking. But then I was like, okay, but it was a little. It got to be a little bit much. But his laugh was, yeah, I don't know. I couldn't quite figure it out. I didn't hate it, but it just seemed to be a bit much at times. It didn't sound fake, but I think it was like the context on which he was laughing was a bit confusing. Like, and then he just kept laughing. But of course, after he'd been drinking, yeah, Yeah, he was laughing more, which I get to an extent. But yeah, I did enjoy this movie. I am torn as to if I would watch it again. I probably would. I probably would watch it again. The only thing that would make me not want to watch it is of how much I could not stand Pony and his mom. I had enough of them. I was done. I wanted them to go away. That would be the only thing holding me back from wanting to watch this movie again. So if I had to give this a rating out of stars, since it's St. Patrick's Day, we're going to do, instead of stars, we're going to do clovers. So out of 1 to 5 clovers, I would give this a 4. I did enjoy it. Like I said, the graphics and the special effects were good for the era that it was. It was, it was a 4. I really did enjoy this movie. But again, like I said, I might watch it again. But really, the only thing holding me back would be those 2 characters. I could handle the King of the Leprechauns. I wish I could remember his name. I can handle him, but it's really because now I know what those 2 characters are, and I'm like, so they did something right. Those actors did something right because I cannot stand them. Though that would be really the only English. Slow down. That would be the only reason why I probably wouldn't watch it again. But who knows? 4 clovers out of 5. I really did enjoy it. So if you have not seen this movie, give it a shot. Maybe you'll see things that I didn't see, or I don't know. Maybe you won't like it as much as I did. Who knows? There are movies out there that I love that some people don't like, and vice versa. So yeah, it's but yeah, so thank you to those of you who did recommend this movie to me. Good job, guys. So thank you. Yeah. If I don't know what I'm saying anymore. So if you like this video, remember to like and hit subscribe so you don't miss out on anything, and leave some comments down below for suggestions on movies. Easter is coming up, so if you have I don't know of any Easter movies out there, so if you have any suggestions on Easter movies, feel free to send your suggestions down below. I do have a file or a spreadsheet on a list of movies for me to watch. So let me know. Send me your suggestions, and I will put it down on my file. And I will put it on my list to watch. Did I say that? Apologies if I'm repeating myself. My brain is running faster than I can speak. Or maybe I'm speaking faster than I can think. I don't know. Yeah, so I don't know what else to say. Except I hope you all have a great day. And I hope to see you again soon.